Welcome to our university. It's a great pleasure for us.
It's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here. It's a sort of coming back home. I mean, we're connected with what I was doing, so we had to exchange those things.
Honorable President Sargsyan, on behalf of the Alma Mater Studiorum University of Bologna, I wish to warmly welcome you. This joyful occasion was due last year, and we have waited for it with anticipation. Indeed, this visit should have happened at the beginning of September 2020. Needless to say, it couldn't not because of the pandemic. On this day, we are all the more pleased that this meeting is taking place because we cherish the hope that this event sends a message of healing to all the projects halted by the pandemic. Honorable President, in welcoming you here, our university not only greets you as the head of state of the Republic of Armenia, the first president honoring us with his visit, but also as a fellow university professor and estimable physics scholar. Your theory of quantum politics is precisely a testimony of this union between science and political commitment, a union that you have embodied since 2000. This theory has also translated into a fervent research activity that you brought on the international scene thanks to conferences and an upcoming book and article published in a variety of outlets. I see this theory as an invitation to look at today's political phenomena in a different light. Indeed, following your theory, they should not be considered according to a traditional vision that is no longer able to account for the complexities of our reality, but rather according to a vision that necessarily takes into account the revolutionary consequences brought about the technological progress. Those changes are leaving an irreversible mark on our lives and are closely linked to quantum physics theory. Honorable President Sargsyan, let me highlight the strong ties with Europe that emerge from your impressive curriculum. Indeed, in your career as a diplomat representing your state, you were ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary in the United Kingdom, ambassador to the European Union, then to Belgium, and finally in the Netherlands and the Vatican City. Your several and varied assignments often brought you to our country, leading you to make significant connection with Italy, and I hope from today also with Bologna. Such a good relationship between our countries culminated in your receiving the highest Italian award that President Mattarella bestowed upon you in 2018. There is no greater joy for us than to strengthen the friendship between Armenia and Italy by awarding you the Sigillum Magnum of the University of Bologna. Thank you.
Մեծարգո բարոն նախագահ, Բոլոնիայի համալսարանը ձեզ ջերմորեն ողջունում է եւ բարի գալուստ է մաղթում հայերենով։ Բարի գալուստ Բոլոնիա եւ բարի գալուստ Alma Mater Studiorum. Honorable Mr. President, we wish to greet using the Armenian language since we are aware of the deep connection between the Armenian people and their language, referred to as Mezaskanch, the great wonder. I would like to conclude my speech by quoting a flawless remark about Armenia made by Tonino Guerra, a renowned poet and writer from this region who was also awarded the Sigillum Magnum a few years ago. While visiting the Republic of Armenia, he was impressed by the antiquity of the archaeological finds exhibited in the History Museum in Yerevan. Hayastani Batmutian Tangaran. He was so impressed that he stated that in such a geographically limited space, it was history, or in his words, it was time that creates space. He said in Armenia, time creates space. To conclude, here at the University of Bologna, we seek to convey to our students this cultural dimension of Armenia, a bridge, as it has often been referred to, between East and West, a crossroad of civilization, a region where the breadth and depth of its history far exceed the space of its political borders. Mr. President, we are honored today by your presence at the University of Bologna, which seals almost 50 years of close collaboration. Noritz, Megan Kamjevas, Barigalust, Alma Mater Studiorum.
Dear President, it's a great honor to welcome you as a small member of the Alma Mater community by giving you the Sigillum Magnum of the University of Bologna.
Honorable Rector of Bologna University, dear Professor Shirinya, dear friends, of course for me it's a really great honor to be here today. Even being here is a great honor. Not speaking about getting from university the highest order that university has, and knowing that your name goes together with great names of great writers, poets, but also my very good friend, President Mattarella, who also has received the same, and also my name goes together with the name of the Pope that has received this. So I don't know, and it's difficult to find words of gratitude and words of appreciation that are with me now. Because one thing is getting or being professor, honorary professorship in different universities, but getting the Magnum sign of University of Bologna, the mother of all universities, it's beyond any imagination for someone that had devoted even a small part of his or her life to science and education. And of course, for me especially, it's something, an event which has special meaning, because we were speaking with the rector before this meeting, and I told the story that in early in mid-1970s. When I was a young researcher, I was honored by getting an invitation from a famous Italian physicist professor to come and visit Bologna. But I was then a citizen of the Soviet Union, and somehow, somewhere, that invitation was rejected. And because it was the first, it left a bitter mark in my heart. I was lucky that in 1980s, promoted and supported by two famous mathematicians and mechanical scientists, like Professor Lagunov from Moscow State University was the rector of Moscow State University, and the director of Yerevan State University, academician Sergei Ambartsumian, that signed the famous agreement between two universities. I was allowed to travel and started working in 2 years, 84, 85, at Cambridge University with Lord Rees. At that time, he was not Lord. He was the director of the Institute of Astronomy and had the chance of working great physicists and mathematicians. So somehow my life went around university, rejected by someone to come to Bologna, and then by the design of God, or life, or political events, independent Armenia, diplomacy, prime ministership. Then I was 4 years a free person, then becoming president, and then coming back where I wanted to be in 1977. So it goes around, and you never know what are the paths of God. And it is by his design, which is a quantum design, that I'm standing now in front of you and saying thank you. Thank you for honoring me, and thank you by honoring me, honoring my country, my fellow Armenian scientists, all of those who are devoted their lives to science and education. Thank you very much indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is now drawing to its conclusion. Before we part, we would like to delight you with a short musical interlude. After the performance, we kindly ask you to remain seated in order to allow Mr. President and the Rector to leave the hall. Now, Valentina Gnudi will perform for us the first movement, Allegro con gusto, from Friedrich Kuhlau's Grand Solo pour la Flûte, Opera 57, number 1.
is so fascinating.
Armenian jewels kept here in the Bologna University Library. But it's a really masterpiece of Armenian book art. As you see, the parchment, and at the beginning it's a gospel. At the beginning you have full-page miniatures, and here the Annunciation to Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
And then a lot of other.
And this is from which region of Armenia?
This manuscript has no, which is usually for Armenian manuscript. So without a colophon, that it is an Armenian manuscript without opening it, because it has this flap. This is only typical of Armenian manuscript. Even if you don't open it, you know that. And here, the University of Bologna has a 1666, and it was printed both in Amsterdam, were not made for an Armenian Bible, 1691. And here, this is the colophon of the map. Here, the author of the map, Yehet Bajar Sun Hatai. This was the reason for this map. In 1691, he was in Constantinople. The noble Bolognese scientist Ludovico Ferdinando Marsili went to me and asked me about the Armenian Church. So this map is the answer to his question. The Armenia at that time was divided into the two empires, the Persian Empire and the Turkish one. But
And this
you know who is that?
No.
Surb Grigor Lusavorit, which is in train to cancel, destroy the paganism in Armenia. This is San Gregorio l'Illuminatore, who was the saint who converted Armenia to Christianity. Questo è il lago di Van, che è al centro dell'altopiano armeno, and it is represented with its islands. This is the island of Ahtamar, and it is written that this is Ahtamar, are used this symbol, which Jeremiah calls Tur, and it is a symbol there, and it could be 1, 2, or 3. It depends on the degree of the governor. This is H. Minazin, this is my Bajar of H. Minazin. Questo è il